All right, so we're gonna go through section, I'll make that pen bigger. Section 7.1, day 2. And so what you're gonna be doing on this part, at least the first part, is we're gonna be finding the value of x for the missing diagram. And what we're gonna talk about here is we're going to talk about exterior angles. And so what I mean by exterior angles is, let's say I draw a picture like so, and I extend the lines out, at least one side, to make them look like this. And almost done. Okay? And I'll put the little numbers in there so that we know which ones I'm talking about. But they're on the outside. So yesterday we talked about the ones on the inside. Today we're going to talk about the ones that are on the outside. And just like yesterday, if the number on the number of sides should tell you how many angles you're going to have, it's the same for that. So if in this case it's a 6-sided figure, you're going to have 6 exterior angles also. So these are called exterior angles. And the reason why they're exterior is because they're on the outside. Okay? Now, yesterday I gave you a formula, but today it's going to be a little bit easier for you. The formula for today, if it's an exterior angle, if I add them all up, if I find the sum, we're going to find the sum of all exterior angles your answer is always going to equal 360. So no matter how big the shape is, your answer will always be 360. So you could have a 6-sided figure like I have here shown, it'd be 360, or you could have a 100-sided figure and it would be 360. And that's what we call a corollary, and that's something that is kind of almost like a definition, where it just says the sum of the measures for all exterior angles are 360. Actually, it's a theorem, so it's something that can be proven, not that we're going to prove it. Okay? And so what we're going to do on the first couple of examples is I'm going to give you a picture, and we're going to find the missing piece. Let's make that 78 here. And one more. It goes this way. And 65. Okay, so what we're trying to do is we're trying to come up with what's the missing piece. And so if all of our angles add up to be 360 degrees, we have to try to find that one piece that's missing. And so to do that, if we take that x, which we don't know, and we add up all the other pieces, so 65, 78, and 106, those should all add up to be 360 degrees. Okay, so taking my calculator, I'm going to add 65 plus 78 plus 106, and I end up with x plus 249 equals 360. So now the goal is to try to figure out that missing piece, and so all I do is subtract it. So I end up taking x equals 360 minus the 249, whatever that happens to be. And my missing angle is 111 degrees. Because all angles are equal to 360, we are just going to add up the pieces that we know and divide, subtract out the missing pieces. Okay. So on your worksheet today, that's how the first 4 are going to be done. Then the next part, let me give you one more actually like that. This coming out here, it's going like that. This is going to be a 2x now. This will be a 3x. This will be 44. Got the last one there. That'll be an 85. And here's a 71. Okay. And so again, our goal is to figure out how many or how big is my x in this case. We're just trying to find that missing value. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to count up how many sides there are. And I'll put it in red so that we don't confuse it with something else. There is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sides. So like what we did yesterday, we're going to take the number of sides minus 2 and times it by 180. And the reason why we do that is because we can cut this into that many triangles, and all the triangles are equal to 180. But if I do that, I get 3 times 180, which ends up being 540. So that means 3x, 44, 85, 71, and 2x should all add up to be 540 degrees. So 2x plus 3x plus 44 plus 85 plus 71 should all add up to be 540 degrees. So your job is to figure out how big that x is. So first of all, if you recall from some of your algebra skills, you add those two things together. 2x plus 3x would be 5x. And then I add these pieces together. So I end up with 44 plus 85 plus 71, which is 200, and set it equal to 540. Now I subtract 200 to both sides. So I end up with 5x equals 340. And then I divide by 5. So 340 divided by 5 is 68. So the answer that we'd be looking for in that problem would be 68. Not 68 degrees, just how big is x, and it would be 68. Okay, again, those two examples are going to take you through the top part of the worksheet. Then the next two questions for 5 and 6, what it's going to have you do is it's going to have you find the measure of each interior angle, and I'm going to abbreviate that as INT, and exterior angle. And so they're going to give you a shape like hexagon. And the difference from yesterday when I gave you hexagon, you just did this. You did 6 minus 2, because it's 6 sides, and times it by 180. And you ended with 720. Again, how you got that was you took 6 minus 2, got 4, and then took 4 times 180. Today, though, however, what you're going to do is you're going to actually find each one. And so if there are 6 sides or 6 angles in a hexagon, what you're going to do then is then you divide that by how many sides there are, or angles. So you take 720 divided by 6. which equals 120. There is a formula for it, and just to kind of piggyback off what we did yesterday. Yesterday we did 180, or n minus 2 times 180. Now the only thing I'm adding is I'm going to divide by n to figure out how big each one is. And this would be for the interior angles. Okay. To find the exterior angle, remember all shapes are 360 degrees when it comes to an exterior angle. All of them add up to be 360. Since you have 6 of them, you just divide it by 6. You want to make it equal. So to find the exterior angles, you take 360 and divide it by how many sides you have. That gives you the exterior angle. So those are the formulas that we have for them, okay? And so to give you another example with that, I'm just going to slide this over. And I'm going to say that it's a 30 gun. And so with that, you take 30 minus 2, times it by 180, and divide it by 30. So 30 minus 2 is 28, times 180 is 5,040, and divided by 30 is 168. To find out the exterior angle, I take 360 divided by 30, and I end up with 12. And one kind of check that you might notice is that these two numbers, and I'm going to put them in highlighters so you see them, but these two answers that you got, if you do it right, if you add them together, 168 plus 12, you should get 180. And the reason for that is because it does make a straight line. Okay, so those two numbers should always add up to be 180. That's kind of a way to check to make sure you got it right. Okay. And the back side of the worksheet, what it's going to do is it's now going to say find the number of sides. In a regular polygon. What regular means is that all sides and all angles are the same, and that's kind of what we've been dealing with here in the last little bit. And so what they're going to do is they're going to tell you something like each interior angle is 150. And I want you to figure out how many sides that means. So here's how we do that. We take that n minus 2 times by 180 divided by n and set it equal to 150. Our job is to find n. So what we do here is, the first thing I'm going to do is I don't like fractions any more than you don't like fractions. So what we're going to do is we're going to multiply everything by n. So your step 1, you're going to multiply by n. And that gets rid of my fractions. But if you do something to one side, don't forget you got to do it to the other. Because that cancels, leaving you n minus 2 times by 180. And on the other side, it equals 150n. Second thing, distribute. Now, distribute means to hand out or to pass out. And what I mean by that is we're going to pass out that 180 to each of those parts. So 180n minus 360. The third step is get all your n's to one side. And so for me, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just subtract the 180n. I'm just going to move one thing instead of moving a bunch. Try to make it as easy as possible for you. And I combine my like terms then, I get negative 30. And the fourth thing that you're going to do is divide. Two negatives make it a positive, don't forget that. And then 360 divided by 30 is 12. So that's how many sides. So if it gives you the interior angle is that big, that's what you're going to have to go through to find that. Okay? Then a little bit different, changing gears, if it says each exterior angle, oops, that's not what I wanted to write. Each exterior angle is 10. Now we're going to do it a little bit differently. We don't have to do as much. It's actually a lot easier if it's the exterior. Because remember, the formula is 360 divided by n, and we're saying it's equal to 10. So your first step that you're wanting to do, multiply by n. You want to get rid of that n. So let's cancel. And then the second step is divide. So we're going to divide everything by 10. So n equals 36. So if it gives you the exterior angle, that's a lot faster than the interior angle. Okay? So that should take you through your worksheet as far as 7-1, day 2. Okay?